experimenting with them. He has also served as associate editor of 3 consecutive years. He is currently the lead editor of International Journal of Information Studies and Libraries. Thank you so very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. And now, without lingering much, I'm handing over this mic to you. Over to you, sir. You can start your lecture.
Thank you so very much. First
Thank you
of
so much.
all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude, deep gratitude to DPrest, AICT, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Registrar, Sir, the organizing committee, and everyone, each one of you, for giving me the opportunity to interact with you today morning. So, without taking much time, I would like to proceed. Okay.
Sir, if you can, your voice is little lower. If you can speak loudly, or you can increase the volume.
I think. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can, but allow you can speak little louder, or if you can increase the volume from your desktop or laptop. Otherwise, you are completely audible.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
So, my today's talk will not cover the research methodology or what is qualitative research and quantitative research, but basically I would be focusing on the tools which I have used and I have found them very, very useful, and I have been benefited, my co-authors have been benefited, my research scholars have been benefited. It's a kind of experience sharing, and I hope you may find one or two of the tools interesting. So as we all know that research is highly systematic. The word which I would like to stress upon is systematic. Of course, it is logical, it should be objective, it should be in a position to be generalized, it should be reproducible. But systematic research is what is very, very important, and we can go on and see a lot of, we can say, the features of the research. Let me hide this. I'm trying to hide this, hide video panel, hide. It goes, but it pops up again. No. And this thing, okay, fine. So the research should be highly systematic. There are several steps of research. We all know that we start with a very broad topic in mind, some kind of, you can say, a question in mind. Then we can think of doing our lit review. And after we have done our lit review, we again try to narrow down our research question or the research problem. And once we have finalized our statement of problem or research problem, then we try to frame research questions, objectives, and based upon those objectives, we may move towards, we can say, the hypothesis framing. And then we move upon research design, we collect our data, and we try to process the data, analyze the data, and we try to test the hypothesis for their validity. So this is the whole process of research being a cyclic in nature, but it has to be very, very systematic. So which are the tools which are going to help us in this long journey of research? We are going to discuss this. So as I said, these are the steps: define a topic, narrow the topic, and gather background information, create, develop, find, cite, write. So we say that cite as we write. So whenever we do research, we always try to cite when we write. If we keep it a pending thing, then we are going to suffer at the end of the day, because later on it is very difficult to recall and recollect those research or studies which we have included in our own study. So therefore, write as we cite. So which are the tools which are going to help us in this journey or in this path, in these steps of the research process, which somehow seems to be very lengthy and sometimes tedious. But at the end of the day, we must agree that it is highly systematic, and if we need to take help of some tools which make our task a bit easier, if not completely mechanical, but easier. So let us see those tools. I also believe with my experience that what is required for research is we need to have access to the scholarly literature. And we need to read that scholarly literature. Without reading, it's not possible to write. So if I say write, so write is a, we can say, a function of reading, and reading is a function of access. We write very less, we read more. So reading may be 10 times or 20 times more than writing, or 100 times more than writing. And once we have written, we are writing, we are trying to share it. So sharing is also very important. And when we share it, we get the visibility. So visibility is a function of sharing, sharing is a function of writing, writing is a function of reading, reading is a function of access. One more step is involved here, which I have not mentioned yet, is gathering and managing. So gather and manage. Whatever you are accessing, how do you gather it? How do you manage it for reading? So these are also things which we will see during this presentation. So as a researcher, I would recommend all of you to have your ORCID, Open Researcher and Contributor ID, which is free, which gives you, which makes you, which identifies you uniquely. So you are uniquely identified, uniquely distinguished from other researchers. So in the area of research, you must go to ORCID, and there are simple 3 steps, and you can register there, and you will be given an ID which is not duplicate, non-overlapping, and no one in this world will have the same ORCID as you are having. At our university, at Punjab University, and many other institutions I know, it has been made mandatory by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC, to have ORCID. And wherever required, we need to mention it in our manuscript, which we send to the editors for publication, post peer review. So we need to mention ORCID also. And many databases and many services are actually allowing login to their interface services through ORCID. So ORCID is now been also used as a user ID and password. So I would also recommend you those, even students can create their ORCID, which is never going to change in their whole life. So ORCID is very unique, and this is what we require as the starting of our research journey. ORCID has many, you can say, applications for employer, higher education, funders, publishers, professional bodies, organizations, grant, research projects, and doing your postdoc or any kind of fellowship, moving to any other country or anything, anywhere. So it is highly applicable. That is ORCID. And you can go to the ORCID website and you can know more. Many databases, like I said, give access to you with the help of ORCID ID, and manuscript submission system. If you can see the this blue color circle at the bottom right, many manuscript submission system also recognize and they recommend that you should log in through ORCID. So ORCID is also very useful kind of identification for any scientist or researcher who is involved in active research. And this service comes free of cost. So any one of you would like to create, they can go to the ORCID website and they can distinguish themselves in 3 simple steps, 1, 2, 3. So that is there. I was just trying to hide this again and again. Just a moment. It's hidden, but again it will appear. That is the problem. So now what is involved in access? In access, basically we mean that locating the resources, and once we are locating the resources, we search, retrieve, and gather. Now it depends upon what kind of resources we are having access to. For example, our library may be providing access to whole lot of resources. And at our university, we are very, you can say, privileged enough to get access through remote access, and we can access the databases and journals and various information services and products, discovery services through remote access. While sitting at home, we can access all those things. So it depends upon the level of access, the quality of access, and the quantum of access your library is providing, because it is not possible for an individual user to subscribe the e-resources, which are very expensive in nature. So searching, retrieving, and gathering is very important. All the universities, most of the universities in India, they are getting these resources in the shape of the consortium eShow the Sindhu, ESS. This is higher education electronic resources, and I'm sure DCRUST is also availing the one of the beneficiary of eShow the Sindhu. And for the colleges, they are also having access to this part of it, that is NLIST, National Library and Information Services Infrastructure for Scholarly Content. So while it comes to access these resources, we are also using JGate, this is Journal Gateway. And JGate provides access to seamless access across all the disciplines. I can search a topic in all the disciplines together, or JGate also helps us in searching in one specific subject database, disciplinary database. So that is the advantage of JGate, especially when you are getting resources from lot of, you can say, publishers, hundreds and hundreds of publishers. Then JGate is very, very useful. Discovery services, of course, are very, very useful. Discovery services and JGate. Now, for remote access, at my university, Punjab University, we are getting access from remote access, remote access. And I know very well that many, for example, ISER, they are using my library at fingertips, and they are also having their mobile apps, so users can access the resources remotely while they are at any other geographical location using their mobile device only. And currently, Punjab University has switched over from remote access to Nimbus. So currently, we are getting access from Nimbus, the remote access. All the databases we are getting from Nimbus. So why I am saying giving so much stress upon access, because when you are trying to do research, it depends. There are several functions. I told you that. So whatever you read is whatever you have access to. You read only those content. So it depends upon the quality of the content you are reading, because whatever you are reading is going to nurture and nourish your mind and make yourself more creative, give you more ideas to generate new content. So therefore, it is essential that how we are getting access. And in during this time of pandemic, for example, COVID-19, remote access is very, very essential. And I would request all the faculty members and scholars to demand for remote access to their respective libraries. This is their right, and libraries must respond to that by providing remote access. Like I said, Nimbus is also available in Google Play Store, and one can use this. So teachers, students, and researchers. This is the interface of the platform. We are getting access from Punjab University Library. So we are getting access. So first thing is, you must ensure access by any means through your library or by open access resources. But better if you can get access through your library. So this is the Nimbus platform customized for Punjab University patrons or users. So here we can use mobile app, we can use the web app, we can go for remote access, research, explore, e-catalog, all the databases are here. And we can read the articles without being it necessary to reach the campus. We can read it. Now coming to the databases can be categorized as either full text or abstracting indexing databases. For example, citation databases. For example, Scopus claims that Scopus is the world's largest abstracting indexing database. And full text database, there's so many. All the publishers are having their full. For example, Science Direct is a database of Elsevier. Similarly, we have Springer, we have Wiley, we have Taylor and Francis. We have so many publishers. And also, academic search engines also play a great role, because we must try to access the academic search engines apart from what our library is providing. So academic search engines are also very helpful for the beginners and also for the students, and they can use these academic search engines. Please stop me at any point of time, and let me also tell you that I will quickly go through all these slides, and then I will try to show you something online. Whatever I am explaining to you theoretically, if I get time, I will show you online if time permits. So you can ask me anywhere, any point in time. For example, Scopus interface is like this, and I can go for advanced search, I can go for basic search, and I can search in documents, authors, and affiliations. And I have so many criteria of searching, search strategy I can frame, I can search in title, I can search in full text, I can search in keywords, and like that. So I can combine two searches, I can save my searches. In affiliations, I can search for any university. Like I can search for DCRUST. DCRUST is having very high H index. Glad to share with it is I think 45. So it's very high. So I could search through Scopus. Scopus is freemium. That means most of the services of Scopus are paid, apart from a few services which are free of cost available. This is Web of Science, another very popular database, and they say that they're the world's most trusted global citation database. and they have launched their new interface on 7th of July, and you can access it right now. So this is the new interface, and here also this is abstracting, indexing, and citation database like Scopus. And Web of Science has also launched their mobile app, which is available freely on the Play Store. One can download and use. So these databases also give you very important inputs for the landmark studies which you are going to use in your study, especially lit review. You can include them, and you can frame your theoretical framework based upon the studies. So you can get information about the prominent and prolific influential studies, authors, countries, associations, and research areas also. And you can then decide how to narrow down your broad research query to a research problem and to a research question. So these databases actually help us. Academic search engine, like I said, we have Google Scholar, Semantic Scholar, Dimensions.ai, and Code. Dimensions.ai works on the principles of artificial intelligence, and so does Semantic Scholar. They call it TLDR. TLDR means too long didn't read. Too long didn't read. So Semantic Scholar, you may check out. Dimensions, I will show you. Core, I will show you. Core is very, you can say, comprehensive. Core is the world's largest collection of, I quote unquote, world's largest collection of open access scholarly research. And whenever you use Google Scholar, the first one, try to go to advanced search and prefer exact phrase and search in the title of the article. Not anywhere else. So you will get highly relevant result, high precision, high recall. And furthermore, you can narrow down by specifying the range, year of commencement or year of ending year. You can give year also from to, and you can use Google Scholar also as an academic search engine. Fine. This is Dimensions interface, and you need to click on access free app, which is the icon is available. I'm sure you can see my screen at the right hand side. Access free web app. You click here and you will be taken to Dimensions. The beauty of Dimensions is that you can search the whole database, millions of results. So this is the one, you can say, alternative to Google Scholar with rich interface. And the very important feature available here is that you can also choose your discipline. So Dimensions allows us to choose our own discipline and then search within that discipline. It helps us to go for data mining. It also helps us to extract and download records, 2,500 records at one go as a single file you can download. If you want them for further analysis or whatever you need, you can download them. And Dimensions, like I said, you can also log in. If I'm not wrong, you can log in through ORCID or your email ID. ORCID is also there. You can log in. Okay. This is the interface of Dimensions, and if you can see the research categories, if I can, let me try. This is the research category. And here, if you click here, you can find this your own subject. Otherwise, you are free to actually search in all the disciplines. You can do that. Now, open access, I would like to mention two categories or levels of open access. One is OER, that is Open Educational Resources. Another is Open Access Journals. Open educational resources have 5 kinds of permissions. You can revise, you can reuse, you can remix, you can reshare, you can redistribute. That is OER. And you would be surprised to know that the developed countries, the affluent countries, well-to-do countries are saving millions and millions of dollars by using OER, and in India, we are not using, and many developing countries are not using an OER or OER pattern. Open access journals we are using. So OER, as you can say, is stressed upon encouraged by UNESCO, retain, reuse, remix, revise, without any permission. So you can combine, you can create new, you can redistribute the OER content without the fear of copyright infringement You can download them, you can print them, you can distribute them, you can combine a video with a text, with a PowerPoint, with an image, and create a new OER. So OER 1 plus OER 2 plus OER 3 is equal to OER 4. No copyright infringement. Where to find an OER? I will mention two resources. One is Oasis, openly available sources integrated search. Oasis is really Oasis. And this is subject wise available, of course, and furthermore, you can search it. But one more resource I would like to mention. This is free of cost, and I need not mention the URL. Just type Oasis OER. You will straight away go to Oasis. And the Mason OER Meta Finder. This is Mom, really Mom. This is a search engine developed by the George Mason University, and where you can find the books. Because you see, when we are intended to start our research journey, or we are in our research, we are already in research, sometimes basic fundamentals we want, and we want some reliable purpose of books, ebooks, soft copies, and we can go here and we can search. Why it is called MOM? You know why it is called MOM? Because there are 21 mega OER databases, and MOM integrates those 21 databases, including the Oasis. Second entry, second column. So Oasis is already included in this map. And how much is the cost? Does it cost? Nothing, not even a single penny. It is free of cost. And this is very useful for students also, teachers also. In fact, if I would like to share a book from this MOM search result, let me also tell you that this gives you real-time federated searching. If you want to test, you want to know what is a real-time search and what is federated search, please make a search on MOM. You will come to know what is the real meaning of real-time search and what is the meaning of federated searching. Because as you search, the results increase, and you will get visual representation in the form of pie chart of all the results, and freely you can distribute and use it. You can take 100 printout of the book and keep it in your library. And I have shown in one presentation, there was a book on financial accounting costing 5,070 something rupees in India, and that book was freely available through MOM PDF file without any copyright violation, I tell you. So OER is very good as a fundamental and basic and initial starting of clearing our concepts, of course, for students and research scholars. And as we progress, we come to research, serious research, we are concerned about the open access research papers. This is directory of open access journals, my dear participants, and you can use it free of cost. You can search it, you can browse it, and you will be benefited. You can download all the articles free of cost. And the second one is CORE, Connected Repositories. And this is the world's largest collection of open access research papers. No doubt about it. And one very good thing about this is CORE also gives you a free gift. This is free. This is free. And one more additional free gift you get. And that gift is of browser extension. I will show you that. So you can search it. And yes, Vikas from India is here, and Suchita is also working here. Vikas perhaps left, but Suchita is still there. So PhD student. So people from India are also there in this CORE. This is a massive project, and search results are huge. And let me also tell you that you shouldn't be surprised if you find the free version of a paid article in CORE. Please don't get surprised. Free version of the paid article in CORE. That is the reason behind this is that most of the journals, in fact, they allow the authors to submit their papers, publications in some institutional repositories. And that is not VOR, version of report, but that is the AAM, that is known as author accepted version or author accepted manuscript. So author accepted version of the paper is allowed to be submitted in a repository, and from, if you know, you can get that version free of cost. And as a responsible researcher, I will also request you, if you get published yourself in a paper, try to submit the author accepted version of the paper in repository. And if the journal is already open access, there is no question of author accepted version manuscript or version of report VOR. You can submit as it is. version of report you can submit because it's already free. But if it is not free from the publisher's interface, you read the policy, you submit the author accepted manuscript in the repository for whom? For all others. Let them read it. When they read it, I tell you, sharing, when you share, visibility is a function of share. I told you earlier. So what is the meaning of visibility? Visibility means citation. And when you share your work, you do the good thing. You share your knowledge and you get citations. The code is there. And Turnitin, which is one of the, you can say, most popular similarity checking platform. I would beg to differ from all of you. Maybe that Turnitin is a plagiarism checking platform. For me, it's a similarity checking platform. But in any case, Turnitin partners with Core, the world's largest aggregator of open access research. So when you are submitting any document to Turnitin or Authenticate or Original for similarity checking, not plagiarism checking, for similarity checking, then it's highly likely that your documents are being cross-checked from the content of Core. So what is the success behind these databases, these software tools like Turnitin? Because they have huge content to match with, and one of the content is Core. So be a part of Core. Browser extensions, I will request you to use Unpaywall. This is Unpaywall, and this browser extension sits on your Chrome or Firefox browser. You go to Chrome extension or Firefox add-ons, and you can just search Unpaywall, and you will get an extension. You just click it on, and this extension will sit once and for all. First and the last time, this extension will sit on your browser, and whenever you are searching article, if there is a paywall version and there is an alternative version, free version of the article, it will pop up and say, look, this is the free version. Same is the case with Core. Unpaywall, yes, it works. I have tested it. I have tried it. It's useful. This is one extension silently sitting at one place in your browser and giving you access to papers when you hit the paywall. That means, so its name is Unpaywall. Unpaywall. There is also one open access button you can try, but I found that Unpaywall is more effective and efficient. That efficacy is high, and it gives you the alternate version and the same replica free of cost to you. Similarly, you have Core Discovery. Core Discovery is again an extension of browser, and Core gives you the similar type of paper and the exact paper. I'm not saying that it is going to work 100% every time, but many of the times I have myself observed that it works, and you can get the exact paper, free version of that paper, and many times it suggests you similar papers. And I tell you from my experience that many of times the suggestion it gives based upon its algorithm, ranking algorithm, it was better than the paper I was looking for. It's like going to a library shelf and picking a book for a specific call number and then searching, okay, let me check this book also. And then you say, okay, this book is better. Now place me this book and take this book. This happens. This is Core Discovery. So you see, if I have to tell you that how browser can help you in enhancing your research efficacy, these are the examples. You can try. Now, when it comes to reading, many a times, two types of reading are written. First is that your screen is not readable. For example, if you are trying to read some basic concept of the, you are trying to read the root of any concept, probably you are consulting Wikipedia, and the screen is not readable. So you may try this. This is reader mode for Google Chrome, and you can install this. This is very useful while taking classes. Many a times I refer to Wikipedia, and then I use reader mode for Chrome because this makes the reading very, very enjoy. It's a charm. It's a joy. You can click on plus sign. You can increase the line spacing. You can increase the font size, and also you can change the color. 3 colors are available, and this is reader mode for Google Chrome. Another is based upon the artificial intelligence. Now, how can artificial intelligence help us through the browser extension in our reading? So many times we see so many articles while we are browsing, and we are not in enough time to go through the whole paper. Then would like to see the summary of the paper. Then, my dear participants, you can use the Scholarcy. You can call it Scholarkey or Scholarcy, and this is a browser plugin. This is AI powered article summarizer, and this gives you a gist or find summary in a very neat and clean interface in the form of a tab, and you can quickly sense whether this article is useful for me or not. In fact, you can use a summary from there on. So you can try this and you may have your share your experience. This is hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, fine. There was some interruption, I hope. Let me continue with that. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, this is, let me again, hear your mess from your device and you want to upload all those documents. Am I? Am I?
Yeah, sir, your voice is breaking in between. So maybe there is some network issue.
Please.
Sir,
Am
due
I
to some
audible?
network issue, you are audible, but your voice is breaking in between. I think there is some network error.
Can you see
Now
my
you're,
screen?
yes, sir, we
Okay.
can.
Fine. So 50 GB storage you get through mobile phone and in your web based, so you can download all your upload all your papers. But this is not for research. This is for making your device a bit lighter. 50 GB free space you get, and I am using it. So even if I use it, it's around 7% till not 50 GB, 3.49 GB. But actual gathering starts with reference management tools and Zotero. To be very honest, Zotero I am right now not using. But yes, Zotero is very useful. Yes, I know, very useful. This is available as a desktop application also and web based also. So you can use Zotero. It will save your research papers here like that. I may show you also. But my favorite one is different. Zotero is also available for Windows and it is also available for Chrome. But you must know that you need to have both of them for Windows as well as for Chrome. This is reference management. But I tell you a very simple method of reference management later on. So for example, when I install Zotero, it says Zotero connected to Chrome. You need to download that. So I can download. So I have to download it. Both of them work together. Now, this is citation style, especially if you're in a library and you are having a book. You are having, please mark my words. If you are having a book in you at your hand, physical book, and you are making some notes out of it, and you have to give reference, you can just scan the barcode and you can enter the page number also, chapter number also, and you can give reference in your desired citation style. Up to that point, citation size is very good. The rating at Play Store is very low, but it works like anything. It's very agile, especially for printed books. I'm emphasizing that for printed books, this is very good. You can just scan the barcode and you can have this reference being done. And citation size, if you log into your device, desktop or laptop, you will get the data sync. You will get the reference. Fine. My favorite one is your MyBib. MyBib is so fast. Its interface is like Google. It's neat and clean, no advertisements, no pop-up, and it can generate bibliography in around 10,000 citation styles. Around 10,000 citation styles. Premium features are also free. There is nothing like free account, basic account, paid account, nothing like, everything is free. Auto setting is there, your own account, no limits at all. So this is the reason why it is favorite for me. I can copy paste, I can download to MS Word, I can use any format, you name it. I can import and upload. I can do both of it. It has got Chrome extension, which is very useful because the write cite as you write. Whenever I am seeing a resource, I find it useful. I can immediately capture it in a project. I can name a project. I can have several folders online, and there is no software, by the way. There is no software. It's completely web based. Completely web based. And this is the interface. And this is the interface. You can change citation style. You can have n number of folders. Right now, I have around 7 or 8, maybe more than that, 10 folders, different projects, and I can change the citation style in a quick way. I can download the reference list and so many features I tell you. So you can import as a .ris file, bibtex file, or backup, load backup, and you can download the created reference list in the form of copy and paste, Word, Google Drive. What do you want? Zotero is also there, Mendeley is also there. So this is very good. No mobile application is there and no desktop application is there. It is completely web-based and it is actually adequately serving the purpose in my case. So I am completely satisfied. MyBib rocks, and you can change any citation style for that matter, and you can create a new one. Especially the Chrome extension, and once you log in and create a project, oh, it's very easy. It's a cakewalk creating citations. So this is the what it looks like, the Chrome extension. So you can just hover your mouse there and it will give you option of copying. You copy an in-text citation, like in-text citation, as well as the reference and bibliography you can get through my website. So you get the premium feature. You get the premium feature free of cost. There is no basic or paid account. Fine. Now, when we talk of finding a journal for our, so we have discussed about access to research, reading of research, gathering and managing. Managing is through reference management software, maybe Zotero or MyBib, and then having a huge amount of paper, you can refer to Mega because upload 50 GB is too much. I tell you, 50 GB is too much. And when it comes to finding a journal, so I have 3-4 tools to tell you, share with you. Let me be very honest here at this point of presentation that I have not tested all of them, specifically this portion of my presentation. Cofactor I haven't tried. Fine. Journal guide I have tried. In fact, I tried yesterday again to reassure that it works, it is working, and my query was very specific, and I could get a very relevant journal from here. Sometimes it is very hard to find a journal because there are thousands and thousands of journals. So these tools help. These two helps. We also have Edna's journal selector. I have used it, but yes, it works. It claims that it is very agile, but yes, Journal guide is also very good. Admin note down his name and you can search, and is Jane. Insert our title or abstract. They all work in the same way. Sometimes only key. For example, here I did not mention the abstract. I just mentioned the topic, and it yesterday night, and it gave me the relevant journal. So if you give the abstract, then again some summary, some 3-4 lines you can give, and but there are other ways of also getting names of journal, and that is through Scimago, journal, and country rank. All of these are free. Please note down that whatever resources I am mentioning, all of them are free, except the MyLog, Remote XS, and Nimbus. Those were paid. Apart from those tools, all the tools I am mentioning are free. So you can also go for subject area, and Scimago general ranking actually takes data from Scopus. So it is coming from the Scopus ranking. So you can choose your subject and sub-subject area, you can say the specific subject and topic, and you can also choose the country if it matters. I don't know. You can get the name of the journal. Now this is Kronos Hub Journal Finder. Again, this I have used. This is good. Now coming to Scopus. Scopus journal ranking is free. If you are using these free tools, and I have told you that SGR is taking up data from Scopus, the reason behind is this, that Scopus journal rankings are free. If you click here, no login is required, and you can go to Scopus and you can select a journal. There are so many journals here. You can choose your subject area by clicking on that drop down menu on the top left, and you can find your subject, and you can get the ranking of the journals on the basis of their own ranking algorithm known as CiteScore. So these are arranged in descending order of the CiteScore. CA, Cancer Journal for Clinicians, is having the highest CiteScore, 463.2. So you can choose your subject area, and you can also filter it by open access. Left hand side, you can see display only open access journals. So what is the advantage of publishing in an open access journal? If you publish in an open access journal, your visibility will be more, your reach will be more. But even if you publish in a closed access journal, then the author accepted manuscript, the author accepted version can always be submitted in a repository, making it free the other way. And if you use the UGC Care, okay, fine, UGC Care also gives you group 1 and group 2, and you can get journals which are indexed by Scopus, Web of Science, or indexed by the UGC Care team. Fine. Now, writing manuscript, when it comes to, you have selected a topic, you have selected a journal guidelines, you must read. Many journals give you the journal, the manuscript template. So you can use the manuscript template. But in case if you want, if you are working more than one, for example, co-authors, for example, 2 authors, 3 authors, so you can try manuscripts.io. This is a tool. Again, I confess I have not used it, but I will definitely use it. But this is second rank. This I am going to try my as a first. Writem.net, research writing revolutionized writer, manuscript writing. So what service I am using right now, I am going to disclose it. But these I will be trying, especially this Writem, because Writem also deals with the bibliography, and with one click it changes the bibliography from one Saturn style to the other, from Harvard to Chicago, Chicago to MLA, MLA to APA. It can do it just in one click. So that is the point which attracts me towards them. This is Writem Beta. I am using Box, and this is fantastic. You know, I delivered a talk of 1.5 hours at NIT Jalandhar on this topic only, that is Box. One topic, and that video is available on YouTube. It was streamed live. So what was the reason? Because we communicate, our research efficacy depends upon communication also. So it can be mentor, mentee, peer. So we have peer-to-peer communication, we have mentor-mentee communication, we have internal communication that leads to success. Box is so easy. If you are using WhatsApp and Facebook, you can use Box. It is very intuitive, highly intuitive, anytime, anywhere, any device. Cloud-based, you get 10 GB in the basic version, and this 10 GB is quite high. I hope you can listen to me and you can see my screen. And Box is integrated with Zoom. It allows you to go for annotation. It is integrated with Google Drive. It is integrated with Microsoft Office, and I cannot survive without Box. I cannot survive without Box. It has got file version control. No email. Email has vanished because it gives you version 1, version 2 like that. So you always know which is the current version. And you can see the cursor of the mouse, cursor of the mice of your collaborative authors live online. You can see where they are typing, what they are typing. You can annotate, you can give comments, you can assign tasks. Okay, folder sharing, file locking, any feature you just ask for is available here. So desktop sync is also there, version history is there, always access to latest version of the file. So this one manuscript, I am working on say 4 manuscripts right now, and one is with the faculty members in USA, and we are working on a project which is on HyFlex. HyFlex is hybrid flexible. So our time zones are different. When it is 8 a.m. in the morning there, it's 5:30 evening here. But through Box we are working, it's excellent. So Box Note is also there, where we can, Box Notes is very useful. If you forget the WhatsApp, you can type your notes there, you can mention @ mention whatever feature you want. You can create collections and all that. You can see annotations, you can annotate any part, you can annotate even the PPT slide, you can annotate an image, and it has got instant Zoom integration. What do you want? So you can instantly collaborate with Zoom with your co-author. So it is fantastic. So file transfer, cloud storage, fine. So versioning, yes. And this is also available as a mobile app, and you can download it and you can be updated what you want to, what your co-authors are doing, how they are working. I have made all my research scholars, and they are finding it very useful. They collaborate with me through Box only, because email is very difficult on which file was sent on what date, what time, new file is this date, then where I was saving in that, which drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, everything gone. It's completely cloud based, anywhere, anytime, any device. So this is I tell you, I confess, this has enhanced my research efficacy at least 20, 30, 40 times. And this is how I'm able to collaborate with the faculty members at from any other country, including USA and Bangladesh. So this is how it works. And finally, it's come to sharing. You can share on ResearchGate, LinkedIn, Twitter, Mendeley. Zenodo is my favorite. I tell you why. ResearchGate, many of things have turned paid, and it's not so free, and it's not so open. Not so open, because ResearchGate only you can join with the help of invitation, or you can join if you have an email ID which is .edu or .academic. However, Zenodo is managed by CERN. Remember this largest machine of this earth? LCH project, boson, got particle. They have 20 plus. They talked in terms of petabytes. They don't talk in terms of gigs. So Zenodo is where you submit your author accepted manuscript or version of record in case it is open access, and you get immediate downloads and you get citations. And Zenodo is free of cost available. How do you log into Zenodo? You log into Zenodo using ORCID. My personal experience, I uploaded all my research paper to Zenodo, and I could find 30, 20 citations, more citations coming courtesy Zenodo. So it is free for individual. It is free for libraries. You can create community, or you can work as an individual. You log into ORCID. No need to sign up through email ID and password. So in front of Zenodo, all looks like a kid. Zenodo is, and one very good thing happens when I upload any paper, my published paper in Zenodo. Google Scholar fetches the full text and brings it to my Google Scholar profile. That's the power of CERN at Switzerland. So no, it also sometimes you feel like you get alerting services. in your research area or some journals. So you can go to this journal TOC and you can click on subjects A to Z. Or if you're interested in a particular publisher or in a particular journal, whatever may be the need, you can choose top publishers, you can choose subject, and you can, I think I have missed one slide. You click on subject and choose your subject, and you can then shortlist 3-4 journals. And whenever the new issue is published, along with abstract, it will be sent to your inbox. So it's the other way around. You are getting the TOC alert in your inbox instead of you going to each and every individual journal and to see their table of content and monitoring their frequency of publication. So it helps. It helps, and it's a very popular service. And once you have access, read, you are citing, you are gathering, you are managing. When it's come to lit review, and I leave your question to you, you can discuss.
Sir?
Sir?
Sir, your video is stuck. You're not
That
audible.
question post my presentation and literature.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Just give us a moment. I think sir has lost his network.
I am connected. I am connected again. I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
So paraphrasing the line, you see a restate. Or in context of your own argument. Please mark the red italics in relation to or in the context of your own argument. Then it is said paraphrasing. So I won't actually, okay, theoretical point. What you can do is read, note, write, compare, cite, and these are known as signal phrases which are used in paraphrasing. Whenever we do similarity check using authenticate, Turnitin, or original, if we get high
I think sir has lost his connection again. Just wait for a moment.
So this is Quillbot, and this is work. This is free up to 700 characters. You can sign up, and you can put your text in the left hand side. You can paste it, or you can upload a doc, and you get the paraphrasing done by the artificial intelligence on the right hand side. Can you see my screen?
No, sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay.
You're losing your connection again and again. So we lost your screen also.
In fact, I am right now on inverter connection. Even then, it is creating some kind of problem.
Now it is visible, sir.
I know. How much time do I have? So this is Quillbot paraphrasing. This is the paragraph I have copied, I have pasted, and it gives to this summary. And it is paraphrasing, not summary, paraphrasing. So I can use it in case I would like to reduce my similarity. Similarly, we have a proofreading or grammar tool, and Grammarly, I think you might have used it. And this is very popular tool, Grammarly for Microsoft Office. And we have artificial intelligence based tool which I am right now using is Trinka. This is grammar and writing done right, and you have a free version. The URL I mentioned, trinka.ai, artificial intelligence, and you can do that. The two other features which gives is consistency checking and manuscript readiness. So you can also even check a manuscript whether it is good or not. So quality of manuscript it can check, and you can upload your document and it will start checking your documents. And this I am using it. Yes, I am benefited. And there is no substitute to original thinking. Thank you. If you have time, I can go online, and if you want me anything to be shown, I can show you. If any of the tool I have mentioned, for example, if I go to Google Scholar and I just I need to refresh it, and if I search, for example, say just a moment. And I am searching on title, and I'm making it search. I'm not bothering about year. And suppose I'm getting some article like this, okay, and suppose I'm getting the article like this. So I can get one article like this, okay. So this is the icon of Scholarly, and let's see if it works. Let the paper load. Let the paper load in a moment. Okay. Okay. Let us try this. This you are seeing the AI based tool for article summary. So I haven't read the whole article, but it is doing it on my behalf, and it will take a while, and then it will give me the results on its interface, which I can read. Yes, so I can read this, okay. Then I can read the key concepts. Yeah, these are the topics being discussed here, and I can read the abstract here. Okay, fine. I can get the scholarship highlights, fine, and scholarship summary. So this is how it works, and I can also get the full text introduction, methods, subjects analysis, yes, and I can also see the perhaps the results, conclusion, everything I can find. So this is how it works. This is the Chrome extension, and this article is, I hope, free. Otherwise, you can see that unpay wall is here. This unpay wall button has actually popped up, and similarly, I have this core button. Core is also there, and unpay wall is also there. It happens to be there. It is already free. It is already free, but even then, it is working right now. Similarly, this paper also. So this is already full text, but yes, Scholarly can work. So similarly, let me see this paper. This is not full text. This is not full text, but I am getting the clue that it is open from this video, this core connected repositories. Let us try our luck whether this is paid thing. This is asking for 117 euro. Let's try this. I hope it works. has not given me the full text, but once I get the green symbol, it normally gives me the full text. Right now it is not giving me. No, but this green symbol means full text. It's not working right now. No. But this is happening for the first time that I am seeing the green, whether it is brown. When it's brown color, it will say similar papers found, similar papers found. Fine. And let me show you quickly the toolbox. Please let me know when I have 1 minute left so that I can wind up, because this is the box login, and need not pay. It has got free individual account, and this way you can actually this is the interface of box, and so many people want to get into it. This is so, for example, if I click on HyFlex like this I'm working on, and you will see all the options available here. And this is the live updates. I can click on live updates, it will open, and I can open the papers. Yes, I can open the papers. I can make annotations on these papers. In PDF files, I can make annotations, and I can go to the main folder also, where we can actually, I can open this online, and I can also open it in a native application through Microsoft Word. I can do a lot of things, I can do. I can add tags also. I can share it. So like this, this is the notes, and I use notes a lot. So this is the notes which are working in, and with me are 3 authors. One is Laurie and Karen. So it works like this, and we are working. And these are the features. I can just put @ sign, and I can type like anyone I want to add. I can add and post. It will intimate them immediately. So this is how the box works. Any other tool which will be of very highly interest to you? I think all of them are here: Semantic Scholar, Oasis, Myloft, Nimbus, Dimensions. Dimensions, yes, I would like to show you the subject categories. Yes, you can know that. And Zotero, yes. If I searching on Google Scholar, suppose I click on access free web app, it will go to this here, and I can actually, yeah, see the papers right here, and I can search here. Yes, I can search here, and I can also go to the research categories, and I can choose my research category depending upon my requirement. Field of research. So field of research, it will pop up with a number, unique number, that is subject code, and this is free. And if I want to log in, I would be logging. I can click on browse, and you can see this. This is, so I can choose my subject also. If I check on this 807, then this is library and information studies. So likewise, anyone can be chosen. And, suppose I search on, say, for example, green libraries like this, and I can get so many results. See? And this is Zotero. This is Zotero, and for using Zotero, you need to execute the software Zotero, and if I use this software, then I can download all the data of either Google Scholar or any database using Zotero. That is also possible.
So, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, we are running short of time, so can we have queries from the audience?
Yes, I can take any query from the audience pertaining to my presentation.
Sure,
if you have any query regarding the tools, you can ask. Otherwise, we are ending this presentation.
So participants, you are requested, if you have any query, you can discuss with sir. You can raise your hand and we will unmute you. Or Kuldeep sir, you can unmute all the participants. Kuldeep sir.
ओके मैम, ओके, अभी कर रहे हैं
जी. Yes.
If there is no query, we can stop here.
Done, ma'am.
Excuse
Sir?
me, sir. Excuse
Sir,
me,
we
sir.
have.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm a research scholar from Indore. Ma'am, my query is, sir, is there any tool, sir, which will help in review of literature? So, which will ease our work of review of literature?
See, that has to be done manually. But if you ask me, I can tell you, we all are doing the lit review in a wrong way. For lit review, we must use what is known as softwares for lit review, for knowing the important studies, for knowing the prominent authors, for understanding the research areas which are currently in trend. If we are not doing so, we are doing the lit review in the wrong way. Two things I would like to mention here is that one is the software. Software is known as Bibliometrics. But you need a session on this, you may contact me and I will tell you. This is the Bibliometrics software, which works with RStudio. The words are very heavy, but the software is very easy. This is Bibliometrics R package, and it is a software-based utility to conduct a pre-study before beginning the lit review. And once we conduct the study using this software, our lit review becomes highly objective and highly successful and highly accurate. Yes, indeed, it helps a lot in lit review. And let me tell you, this is my personal experience, but bitter truth, that those scholars who opt for opinion surveys, in social sciences opinion surveys a lot, they wait for a few years to publish their first paper. Let me tell you that if you do the lit review in proper way using a software, you get two benefits. One, your lit review becomes a sort of mechanical. Your lit review becomes highly objective, relevant, and accurate, and reliable, trustworthy. And the last but not the least is you publish a paper using your lit review, provided use this software. This requires one full session. I have one full session in other lecture. If you are interested, yes, I can show you how it does evidence-based lit review, which is missing heavily in social science research. So Bibliometrics IX, it works on BiblioShiny. It uses RStudio, and this is the interface of RStudio. I am telling you that the words, these terms are very heavy to listen, but once you know how to use them, you can produce, let me tell you, a few papers before starting your data collection work, if you work. Given any field of research, why I am doing research on HyFlex? Am I a student of education? I am certainly not. Am I a student of psychology? Not. I am working with people who are in US. They are from education and they are from psychology. I am from information science. Why I am doing the paper with them? Because of this only. I am writing a paper which I am going to submit in this month, that is on bioplastics. So this software is so powerful that it is going to help us in comprehensive science mapping, as you can see. So evidence-based literature review is what we are missing. And if you are interested, contact me. We will have paper. We will have more than one paper. We can do that. And your literature review become very, very empirical. And so if I say, if you show me your lit review, I can tell you whether you have missed the top 3 authors, then what use of it, how useful this lit review is. If we are missing the top 10 studies which has been conducted on your, so you shouldn't be dependent on what you get. You should be aware of what is the truth. And the truth is you must include the most influential studies in your paper, and you must try to understand the trends. So there's no use of doing recycled research, right? So yes, there are ways. It will take time. You need patience. You contact me. I will have one full session with you, and we will have a paper. Yes. I said
Yes, sir.
we will
Sir,
have it.
surely, sir, I will contact you, sir.
Okay, anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question, please?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, very good morning.
This is Shabnam Sangwan, CSC scholar from DCREST. First of all, I would like to thank you for such an informative session. But due to network issues, sir, I skipped one content from your session is some good tools for paraphrasing. So can you suggest me?
Yes. There is one tool only. Others are waste. This is Quillbot, and you can create a free account. This is Quillbot.
Participants, please mute yourself.
This is the tool Quillbot, and I can log in and I can have more privileges by logging. This is login icon, and I can log in. I can have more privileges. This is the artificial intelligence. But I tell you that if you do it manually, I have told you the technique of doing paraphrasing manually. This helps. Quillbot certainly helps. And after Quillbot, you might like to use Trinka AI tool. This is Quillbot. You can paste your text and you can get the. Any other question, please?
Anyone else? If you have any query, you can ask sir directly.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am, go on.
Sir, last question, sir. Can you suggest, is there, sir, any short tool or sir, something like that? So to make our sir, to search for theoretical framework or our model, sir.
Yes. I can tell you the tool which I am mentioning, BiblioShiny. BiblioShiny is in bibliometrics. This tool is giving you the thrust areas, your variables, and the constructs. And those constructs help you in framing a theoretical framework. And one more thing will help you in theoretical framework, which I perhaps missed on. One is your mechanically done to software. You get the constructs, and other is the synthesis matrix. So synthesis matrix is very important, and that is known as I will show you literature review. Then this is done manually. Matrix. This is missing. This you should do. This will also help you in framing or theoretical framework. And this is a very popular method, which is a bit mechanical though, used in the Western world. And this is very useful technique of developing a theoretical framework out of a lit review. So it is known as literature review summary table or literature review synthesis matrix. Plus, this is ultimate. And this helps you in publishing, this helps you in framing a theoretical framework, and this helps you in making your lit review accurate and reliable. So, and this please note that R is maybe difficult, R Studio may be difficult, bibliometrics, but when you use it, it is very easy. I tell you, this is easier than creating your going for your security setting in Facebook. Though I don't have account in Facebook, but I know. So it's easier than that. Security settings in Facebook is difficult than using this tool. The only thing is that those things are very popular. So any field, any subject, any field of research, this can be done. One full session of 1 hour and you are done.
Okay.
I'm doing this HyFlex using this bibliometrics. So the tool may be new for them, not new for me. So we are going for HyFlex and using this bibliometrics. And if you can see follow my cursor, this R is very much installed here at the bottom.
Yes, sir.
And if you want to use some statistical tool, this is the fresh and best tool for doing statistics for any beginner or advanced statistician. If you use this, you will perhaps stop asking for help of any statistician that is paid service. I'm using this, and you can see the icon in my taskbar. This is JAS, and this is very easy interface, and you can get descriptive as well as inferential statistics. All types of parametric and non-parametric are available here, including the Bayesian analysis, and you get so much data that you wonder that which to include in your research paper, which should not. So this is free. And you can use it for teaching.
Excuse me, sir.
In Excel format or CSV file. Yes, please. Any more questions?
Sir, I think we have to wind up because our next speaker has already joined us. So we have to wind up this session. So audience, if you still have any queries, you can, we will share sir's email ID with you, and you can directly drop a message to him if with due permission of Chakravarti sir. Sir, is it okay?
Yeah, fine.
And
bye.
many participants are asking about PPT. So we have already shared the YouTube link, because all these